what's up? I don't know if you've heard about this guy, Clif High, but he predicts the future with some degree of success, so I've heard. And when he predicted something big around July 15th of last month, I was really impressed when Trump was shot on the 13th. Then just a week or so ago, a couple weeks or so ago, he predicted something to do with swords going on. And sure enough, in England, they had all these guys running around with machetes, slinging them around and waving them, which, you know, if you've seen a machete, it's like a sword. It's close enough for me. So anyway, yesterday he did a video with a number of predictions, which led me to decide to do this video. Okay, I'm skeptical. And I've really done this thing more than anything for my own edification, to keep what he said clear in my own memory. But, you know, I figured, why not share it with everyone? Hell, what does it hurt? So let me tell you a little bit more about him. Clif High predicts the future through a method he calls the WebBot Project, or WebBot. This project involves the analysis of linguistic patterns found in internet search queries, blog posts, and other online content. He believes that these patterns can reveal the collective unconsciousness of humanity and provide insights into future events. By using a software program that searches for patterns in online data, High and his team aim to identify emerging trends and potential future scenarios. So in essence, I've heard it said that, you know, if everyone is a little bit psychic, because most psychics will tell you that everyone is a little bit, if you take the collective consciousness of all humanity found on the internet and analyze things that are being said, you can pick up, the sum total of everyone's psychic ability. So anyway, that's essentially the long and the short of it. He doesn't predict using any kind of crystal ball or anything. He just uses computers, which to me is kind of cool, kind of objective, you know. He believes the world is evolving into what he calls sci-fi world, which is going to be a bunch of technological innovations that will amalgamate with the mainstream of human history. So anyway, I'm going to go over what he said, and I'm going to put an MLA citation and his web address at the end of the video so that you can go check it out yourself. Wouldn't want to plagiarize anything from anyone, because everything that I'm saying is his creation, and I'm just reporting on it. Now, the time frame to which we're referring here is going to go from now on, probably on into April, into the spring. And he talks about intense periods of activity in December, January, and February, which will cause a discontinuity with unexpected events occurring. Now, as I understand him, discontinuity means like a break with, I guess, the history, with the events. In other words, it's like a black swan type event that changes the paradigm of the future in a way that wouldn't be predicted until it happened. That's how I understand it. In the U.S., intense conflict around December the 7th. Active kinetic cultural clashing. Seriously disruptive to the social order, yet not a civil war. It will all kick off in September, and we'll get a big boost around October the 2nd through October the 8th, with big escalations in the spring. Now, this probably wouldn't be too difficult to predict. Trump's going to be sentenced on September the 18th. And then December the 7th is going to be just after the election, or after the election, not more than a month or so. So this really wouldn't be too terribly difficult to predict. However, if you look at the precise dates, the 7th, October the 2nd, that might give a degree of specificity that would lend credence to what he's saying, if indeed it did occur.
0-point energy, or what Nikola Tesla called radiant energy, is the most profound and transformative gift that the quantum world offers us. The seemingly empty vacuum of space is actually a roiling sea of virtual particles fluctuating in and out of existence, and all those fluctuations require energy. If we could tap into this energy source, we would unlock a virtually unlimited reservoir of clean, free energy.
So he spoke of the introduction of a brand new technology that will drastically change the zeitgeist of the world. And he said that the introduction of this tech will be disguised. People will be distracted by a bunch of talk of UFOs and some other new tech that really doesn't amount to a hill of beans. That's the way I understood what he was saying. But the new tech will make a profound impact on humanity for 20 to 30 years. He called the tech lightning eater, which simply draws electricity from the atmosphere, and he spoke of being able to power automobiles and houses and what have you, all through drawing power, electricity from the atmosphere, which is, kind of like what Nikola Tesla had been messing around with before he died. He says many normies won't accept any of this because it will be amalgamated with UFO info, which will cause them to tune it out. And, doesn't that happen a lot? Something serious and legitimate will come along, and then you'll suddenly have all these weird ancillary show enough conspiracy theories that pop up, which cause the normies to discount the real stuff by virtue of association, which is kind of sad, but it happens constantly. Pizzagate was an example of that. 9/11's been an example of that. You see it all the time. Something legitimate comes along, and then all of a sudden some stupid shit shows up that makes everyone tune it all out. But then he said, amidst all the chaos, some guy will emerge and introduce the new tech. This would cause a discontinuity with the past and would introduce a totally new paradigm in human history. This 0-point energy will cause the power structure to collapse, which makes sense. The idea will be introduced around December the 7th, but won't be actually introduced until spring among currency collapses and etc. So in other words, there'll be some type of predictive reference to it around December the 7th, but it won't actually be seriously introduced until spring. And of course, there's probably going to be a currency collapse about that time. Most people are predicting it for the spring. Anyway, he says late March or early April. Now that's pretty specific, so I'm going to be looking out around December the 7th for any mention of any kind of new 0-point technology that's going to pop up on the collective horizon. Now see, if people had 0-point energy, unlimited free energy, that would pretty much emasculate the power structure. The WEF, the United Nations, the cabal that runs the United States, they're just going to be shit out of luck. They won't have any ability to control people. But anyway, he says that riots will break out and the rioters will seize government documents relating to the new tech, UFOs, etc. And of course, when people hear that, they sort of presume that it means substantiating the existence of aliens. But discovering documents about UFOs might be dispositive toward establishing aliens. The documents might prove that there are no aliens. which is what I think. But anyway, Agenda 2030 is an attempt to maintain control during this time. So everything you're seeing with Agenda 2030 is designed to maintain control during this time of flux in which the history of humanity is fluid. He says January 18th through February 14th are key times of open contention. So that's pretty specific. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Then he says there's going to be a goose is cooked event when the elites will flee, metaphorically, by creating conflict among people as a distraction. Fistfights in the British Parliament, possibly armed revolution in the UK, culminating in January. But not an insurrection, but an actual armed revolution, and the government will collapse. That's a possibility. And there will be a redistribution in all the British Commonwealth, which would be good. Maybe they'll get those parasitic nobility, get them dispossessed of all their wealth and property that they've been using to on the downtrodden. But anyway, he said it was a possibility. So anyway, there you have it. I don't know. It's interesting. I'm skeptical. I'm not taking this by any means. I'm not taking this as anything chiseled in stone, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens. It'll be interesting to look back in about 6 to 8 months and see how much of what he said actually transpired.